It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning and we're talking success.
Good morning, Soul family. So excited to have you join me today. Today is June 17th. For all you fathers out there, father figures, happy Father's Day. Hope you enjoyed it yesterday. I love what Chris Hedrick said here today. Good morning, life givers. I think that's awesome. I consider that exactly what you guys are doing out there as you're helping people get their lives back. So that's fantastic. It's so good to see so many of you on with us, and it's fun to just be a part of this whole thing we got going on. As always, if this is your first time or if you've forgotten, you need to chime in and let us know you're out there on our YouTube channel. You do this by making any sort of comment. As you can see, a lot of people like to wish each other a good morning or tell a little bit about the weather or whatever they're doing. And this allows us to see you, which then allows us to put your name into the bucket of fun and make you eligible to receive one of our fine products that we like to give away. We've got, you know what? I'm going to show this because this is so stinking awesome. This one is something everybody should have on their kitchen cabinet or counter, full of Soul Complete. I know you can't really see that. I'll try to put a white background there. It says Soul Complete on it. It's so fantastic. You put your powder in there, then you don't have to get it on your hand as you're trying to get your big hand into a little bag. And man, this is just a great thing. The bamboo top just is fashionable. It just kind of works with everything. So we've got that going on. We also have, oh boy, this is a good one too. Looks like we got a theme going on. A Soul Complete Protein Plus shaker tumbler thing. Has a little ball in there to help mix it up. And then with it being summertime, and you guys got so much going on, from baseball games to going to the beach to sitting by a lake or pond doing some fishing, you gotta have something like this. You can sit on it just like this. You can unfold it to keep the grass off your legs. You can use it to keep you warm if you're getting a little chilly in the evenings. We've got you covered. So we got those three different things. The way it's gonna work today is this. We are going to give one of these away to you for being on live, one to those who are registered for our Soul Ignite coming in October, and one to our SN Sweeps participants. We got 3 separate drawings, 3 separate bowls. Is it possible for you to win more than once? Yes. If you are registered, if you participate in SN Sweeps and you're on live, there's a chance you could win them all. So that's what we like to do and get you taken care of. Sound good? Awesome. Now, as always, we love to recognize those of you who have invited more people into the Soul family, which just makes us better. And we do that in this nice little segment we call Rock and Roll. Let's jump into it now. As a reminder, these are those who have Soul Trial Packs and also enrolled new people. We combine those numbers together. So starting out number 10, we have Fernando Reveles Perez. We've got Esther Judy Dario, Elvia Garcia, Eliza Endrick coming in at 7. Number 6, we got Lisa Napke. At 5, Veronica Martinez. Maria Lopez coming in at 4. Rounding out our top 3, we've got Eric Patterson coming in at 3. Lydia Ferrentino coming in at 2. And our top enroller for Rock and Roller for the last week, Jordana Espinosa. Well done, guys. It's always fun to see you guys inviting people in, as I mentioned before. The average enrollment order for this past week was $209.25, which, as a reminder, that's just the enrollment order. As you recall, if you sell a trial pack, it's less than that, right? And that doesn't count as an enrollment order. You just get the trial pack bonus for that, which gives you $10 into your Soul wallet immediately. And then when they place their next order, which is their enrollment order, we give you the Soul Quick of 35% of what that order is. So that $209.25, that's not taking into account those trial pack orders. So it's just a great amount of product people are getting, which gives them an opportunity to get good results. And that's really what we want them to see, right? That's what we love. So, and Chris Hedrick mentioned that she would like to have my Cinemate cup. As you know, this show is sponsored by Cinemate, mostly because that's what I drink in the morning. And that's what time it is here in Utah. So yeah, we'll get you guys hooked up one of these days, I promise. We also had some great things coming in this week, some great entries in our SN Sweeps, hashtag SN Sweeps on social media. As a reminder, anytime you post something about Soul, just hashtag it SN Sweeps. Let the world know that we've got this going on. Let's sweep the world with Soul Naturals. We We had a couple entries we wanted to show you, some good things going on. First one we'll start with is Lisa Tucker. Here we go. It says, how to see better results when you are having a hard time believing things can be different. Mixing it up with her dog. Replace a grumpy attitude with a walk around the block. There you go. Replace OTC pain meds with natural anti-inflammatory herbs, and replace coffee with Cinnamate. Looky there. Follow for more. Good stuff there. And it shows her mixing up her pack of Cinnamate right there as she's doing it with her dog. That's such a great thing. Anytime you throw an animal into any post, people just love that stuff. We also had a good one coming in from Savannah Young as well. It says, what's better than having my green drink in hand while meditating and having a charcuterie board demo? Showing the board. Man, the good question. We don't know if there is one. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential for your well-being and overall happiness. I just love, love, love my green drink. This amazing drink has changed the way I live, where normally, without it, the stresses and anxieties of the day really get to me, affecting my mood, attitude, and relationships. But now I have control over the stressful situations and handle it like a queen. I loved being able to practice mindful meditation outdoors in the sun and wrapping up the little get together with me, sharing how much I love a charcuterie board. Ladies, if you're ready to stop letting and then she goes on to talk more there. Stresses of the day keep you from being the queen you are. Comment ready and I'll send you the drinks that have changed the game for me. Perfect. And those are just some examples you guys can use. You know, you don't have to copy those exactly, but it just shows what's available. You can just talk about how the products are affecting your life. As always, people are way more interested to know how it's affecting you than what science says and all that hullabaloo. We have all that data to back it, but you're just gonna smother them if you think you're gonna lead with that. Lead with how it's affecting you and helping you. You are the closest thing they have to soul. And so help them understand what it's doing for you, and then they'll be interested in how it can help them as well. We talked about the power of referrals already and how people just love to have things referred to them. They trust it. And so make sure you continue to share that with you. We also have a great testimonial that we love to share as well. It says, before taking Soul, my whole body was a mess. And I was so frustrated because I thought that going to the doctor would be the answer. They didn't find anything going on. So I met Soul thanks to a friend, and I started to feel the difference, changes. And being part of the Soul family, I got to learn that listening to your body and giving the body the right tools, the body can heal itself. And that is what we are hearing when we reach out to people and talk to them about Soul. There's something going on. Everybody has something going on. If you don't believe me, just ask them, right? Everybody is here because we have something going on. And when she says her whole body was a mess, a lot of people feel that way. And that's what we love about Soul, because these herbs are formulated to help the mind and the body. So it's got everything going on. It helps to deal with all those different stresses we have going on. A lot of those things aren't going to come up in any test because we just feel off. Last week's testimony talked about feeling like your head was in a fishbowl. It just feels a little bit off. But if you give your body enough hydration, if you give it enough sleep, and you give it the right nutrition, man, you'd be amazed at the things it can do. And that's a message we're sharing with people and helping them come along with. So continue to share with people, and you're going to see testimonials just like this come in, where it says, giving the body the right tools, the body can heal itself. And that's exactly what it's going on, right? Wonderful. Good stuff. So that is our testimonial. Going through my list, make sure we're checking everything off. Now, this past week, I had a really cool opportunity. I took a youth group down to southern Utah to do some canyoneering. And it was a pretty big adventure. When we first started, I thought we would have around 200 people or so come. But once the word got out what we were doing and excitement started to build, we ended up having 330 people show up. So we were able to find some public land down there to camp on. Now, mind you, in southern Utah, if you haven't seen it before, a lot of rocks, a lot of red rocks, and a lot of dirt. And luckily, these boys had no problem with any of that. It was about 103 degrees when we got there on Thursday. Luckily, that night it got a little windy, and it helped cool the temperatures down on Friday for us. So it was only about 90 instead of 100, and it was just great stuff. When I pulled all the leaders that were there, all the adults together, and said, hey, this is what we're planning on doing. We're going to go on a canyoneering trip, and we're going to go through the canyons Ding and Dang. It's a loop. You go up Ding and you come down Dang. And if those aren't the most Utah canyon words ever, then I don't know what are, right? But it's about a 6-mile loop. And when I told all these guys what we were planning to do before we got down there, a lot of them started to research it. And there were a lot of fears and concerns as we started talking about this. This group I took down there were made up primarily of young men between the ages of 11 and 18. So there's a big difference between an 11-year-old and an 18-year-old as far as skill level, athleticism, ability to do things, wherewithal, all that good stuff. And then we invited their dads to come as well. We only got a handful of dads, but some of those dads were in different conditions as well. Some of them were able to hike easily. Others have been maybe had an office desk job a little too long, as you know what I mean. And so we got this group together. And a lot of these adult leaders, before we went there, they started looking up these canyons we were going on. And they saw that out of a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the easiest hike and 5 being extremely difficult, this canyon was ranked at a 4.7. 4.7 out of 5. And next to it, it said hard. And then as you started to read down in there, it said not for beginners. And it furthermore started talking about there were some technical places and there were some difficult things to do. So as they started to express some of their concerns to me, I said, listen, I totally get it. But in order for any of us to grow, we got to do some hard things. And you're right. It isn't for beginners. But luckily for all of us, if we all are together, we're not a beginner anymore. We have enough skills and attributes between all of us that we can pull this off. And they were still a little bit hesitant. But we did it anyway. So we sent them out in different group sizes to go through the canyon, knowing that they'd kind of space themselves out naturally, as it was difficult for some, and for others, they would be able to fly through some of the more technical parts. As I mentioned before, we had 11 to 18-year-old boys there with their dads on a 6-mile loop in the desert. We made sure they had plenty of water, and off we went. It was really interesting talking to them at the end of this. I made sure that we had some leaders in front that knew what they were doing, and they stayed at the more really technical, difficult spots where people could get themselves into trouble. And then I came up with another leader on the very tail end of it and swept the canyon to make sure we didn't leave anybody behind. Slot canyons are really nice for taking large groups of people, mostly because you can't really get lost. Some areas were only as wide as my shoulders, and you're able to kind of go only one direction. You either go up it or down it. So it takes a lot of, it would take a lot of work to actually get lost in these slot canyons we were in. So I did a sweep at the end. I came about an hour after everybody left. I went up and I walked it and came through. We caught up with another group, the tail end of the group, and we just finished it with them, making sure they were in a good spot. As we were going, I told all of them, listen, it's gonna be hard. I just want you to get your mind ready for this right now. It's going to be hard. A lot of you are going to be tired. A lot of you are going to want to quit, but you've got to finish it. Once you're in, you're in. You've got to go the route and finish it. And know this, that no matter what you're doing, take your time. It doesn't matter how long this takes. Just be consistent with it and keep on moving, and then you'll put yourself in a position to be successful and you'll get through it. It's not a race. There's going to be other people who are going to go faster than you. There's those that are going to be slower than you, but just keep moving forward and you're going to be able to find out that you can finish this thing, which gave a lot of people some comfort that they were able to actually just keep moving. And so we get through. It took, for most people, it took about 3 hours. For the last group, it took about 4.5, 5 hours before we were able to get through. And that night, as we were talking about it, we kind of huddled up together and said, what did we learn about this stuff? And it was really interesting. Some of the boys said, you know, the thing that was hardest for them was the distance. Going 6 miles was just a long ways for little legs of an 11-year-old boy. Others said it was the heat. Man, 100-degree weather, it just took its toll on you. It just was hard. Others, it was trying to be patient, because there were some spots where we kind of got bottlenecked a little bit. And it was just trying to be patient was just hard for them. They wanted to keep going, but they had to wait to help others and continue to move forward with them. And so you had all these different things. Others, it was interesting enough, some of those, none of those other things bothered them. Some of them, it was heights. There was a couple spots where you actually had to kind of crawl your way down 10 to 15 feet in order to keep moving on. And that petrified some people, some of the older gentlemen as well that were with us. It was just hard for them to work themselves through that. So you had all these different aspects of the same hike that were difficult for different people. And as we were talking about it, we said, well, how do we get through it? And I said, well, you know, I knew it was long, but God, when I had my buddy with me on this walk, it was doable, and we could just talk, and kind of took my mind off of how long it was. And somebody else said, yeah, it was really hot, but man, knowing that at the end of it, we could get back to camp and get some water, maybe go get a milkshake or something, man, that made it worth it for me. So I'm going to keep going. And others said, yeah, the heights were scary, but knowing that there was somebody down there that could catch me if I fell, and somebody at the top kind of helped lower me down, man, that made it worth it, and it put me in a great spot. And I started thinking about how all these strengths and weaknesses just tie into each other so perfectly, and you really get that synergy that you're looking for in any sort of a group or organization, and how easily all those things tie into what we're doing here at Soul. You have some that may say, time management's really difficult for me. I really struggle with that. Or organization is really difficult for me. Talking to new people, that's hard for me. Or managing business stuff, I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure how that all works. And it's just amazing to see when you have an organization around you to help you. It helps turn your weaknesses into those strengths, and vice versa with others. You can help them with their weaknesses, turn those into strengths as well. And so I just love the way we are able to work together as a Soul family to put ourselves in a position to grow. And you're going to see that when we get together in October at Ignite. You're going to learn things from others that have been here for a long time who are just trying to figure things out. And all of a sudden you go, oh, yeah, if I do it like that, that's going to help me. Oh, if I can spend more time with these people, that will really help buoy me up and keep me going when things get hard. And oh man, I know the journey's long, but man, I can see others who have done this, and they are where I want to be. So I know it's possible, and I just need to keep moving forward. Right? And that's what I love about this. And I think those analogies we found when we were down in Ding and Dane Canyons this weekend just tie in beautifully with what we're doing here at the Soul family, right? Chris says, great analogy, change is hard, growth is challenging, just like hiking, stay the course, right? Absolutely. Chris says, maybe Jordan's going to offer us a hike. Hey, we'll figure this out. And if you guys ever want to come down, we'll go for a hike that you will not forget, right? Minnie says, we need to way to not give up before you start, right? That's a great piece of it as well. Most of it's up here. And if we can get our mind right, we'll put ourselves in position. That was the funny thing. We had very frank conversations with the leaders about safety and how do we put ourselves in a position to make this work for everybody. It was literally a modern miracle that we were able to get 330 people through that without having any major injuries or getting anybody hurt. And it's interesting that when I was talking to the boys, I said, listen, you guys are going to have a great time. It's fun. We're going for a hike. We're going to be crawling over rocks, crawling down rocks. There's going to be some water you can walk through, or you can be like a ninja and kind of work your way over top of it. You're going to have a great time. And when we got done, some of the boys said, man, that was a lot harder than I thought it was. I think you undersold it a little bit. I said, yeah, but did you do it? Well, yeah. Could you do it again? Oh, yeah. Boom, there you go. They just conquered a 4.7 out of 5 difficulty level hike with a smile on their face, and they just loved it, right? So that's what we're at. That's what we're doing. So anyway, if you haven't already, sign up for Ignite. Come be with us. Come learn more about the strengths and weaknesses that we deal with as we're working through an organization like this, and it'll put us in a position to be successful. And you'll be able to lean on those around you that have already done it, who've already seen some of these things, who have figured them out, and who are here to support and love and help us. Sound good? All right. With that being that, let's go ahead then. And here we go. We've got a bowl of people who have registered for the Ignite. We've got those who participated in SN sweeps. And we have a bowl of those who are on live, participating with us, being with us today. And we're going to go like this. That nice canister, we're going with those who have registered. The fantastic tumbler, we're going with those with SN sweeps. And this fantastic stadium blanket, beach blanket, whatever you want to call it, is going to go for live. Sound good? And let's see if we can figure this out, right? Mary said, that's a lot of people. 100 degrees in Utah must be different than 100 degrees in Texas. Think like West Texas, and it's probably the same. It's just really hot and dry. 100 degrees in Houston, it's where you're chewing your air before you breathe it. Yeah, we don't have that, right? That's what it's about. Lydia says, the enthusiasm the kids got from the mentors who believe in them also made an impact. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. First up is our registered for the Ignite. We've got Kimberly Bourne. Kimberly Bourne over in California. You have got yourself a fantastic canister. Next up, we got the tumbler. And here we go. Savannah Young, you've got yourself the tumbler for the SN sweeps. And last but not least, we got the stadium blanket, Soul branded, looks fantastic. And here we go. The winner of that one is Lydia Ferrantino. Lydia Ferrantino on with us live, commenting as always. Love it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always good to have you with us. As always, keep sharing Soul. We sure love you guys, and we'll see you again soon.
It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning, and we're talking success.